All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. We're gonna look over the trades that I took today, see why I took them, and how they turned out. So let's get right into it. This morning, I got up and looked at our pre-market gainer scanner. That's this right here. I can see this on my phone app as well. So I get up, I take a look at these, and the leading gainer was only up 80% on the day, which is not the most ideal, but we've had days work like this before. So being aware that it's not immediately a hot day, I wasn't too excited. If you look at these here, we got SAGT up 80%, INHD 72%, and XTLB at 63% into the open. Immediately, I looked at INHD and this didn't look too appealing to me. In as far as technical wise, this isn't horrible. It's not like a terrible setup. It's just first off, this stock is pretty cheap. Not that that's ever stopped me before. I've traded stocks as low as like 3 cents, which is not the most ideal. I try to avoid that, but I've done it. So that's not what put it out for me. It was more of it wasn't. It's hard to explain. It just wasn't moving ideally for me. I didn't like the price action, and it really did give back a lot from the from the highs here. This is a very big recession. Like I do like trading breaks of the downtrend, but this is quite a bit off the highs. That combined with I don't think there was really any exciting news on it. Nothing too interesting, and volume was, I mean, it was there. I mean, we got 500 million shares by the end of the day, but not exactly. It's hard to say. One thing about trading that they can't teach you is that there's like this level of intuition that you get over time, and I wouldn't be able to teach this to myself before. I can't teach it to anybody. I can't really explain it. I still think, obviously, I'm still learning and developing that sixth sense, but I just didn't like the way this thing was moving. There was volume, but it felt a little choppy and weak. And yeah, so that was kind of almost immediately off my list. Technical setup is kind of there, I suppose, if you took like, yeah, I suppose on the 1 minute it's actually a little more clear why I didn't like it. It's just so much. This move happened over literally what was this, 5 in the morning to then, like it was just moving lower. This didn't feel like it moves quickly. I suppose it just felt very dragged out. If you took this trade, actually, if you took this trade right into the break, it probably would have incurred a loss. If you decided to wait till it came back up, retest this and break with volume, maybe you could have scalped like a small trade off of it, but it really didn't work out that great. I wasn't interested in it when I was looking at it, and I mean, I don't know what the heck this is. That is, yeah. So I did avoid that. Weird movement, weird price action. Wasn't very interested. Wasn't up enough on the day to feel interesting to me. So I kind of took that off the list. So then we had SAGT here, and looking right at it, and again, didn't look too appealing. It was a weird channel up. Nothing like, no crazy breakouts, not really showing much excitement in the price action. It felt like it was just grinding higher in this range. So I was keeping an eye on it. It wasn't necessarily off the list just because of this. there's definitely certain different strategies I have. It's not my bread and butter break of a downtrend into the open strategy, but it wasn't a terrible choice stock. It did have news. We were seeing good volume on it. I was prepared to sit back and see what it was going to do into the open. So it wasn't necessarily off my list, just didn't really show a technical setup yet. Lower float, so it did have the bones to put in a move. I just needed, again, like I said, I needed to wait and see if there was gonna be some kind of technical setup that would form for me to be able to take a trade here. So then third down would be XTLB into the open. This one was a technical setup I was a little more interested in. We were seeing this, it wasn't super obvious, but a downtrend into the open. That we had 2 touch points, which isn't the greatest. It's kind of a weak trend to draw, but I did draw that out. And I also did mark out these 2 topping tail candles that could be potential resistance to the upside. So I mapped that out, was keeping this in mind, and then the market opened. And almost immediately, I was paying attention to these 2, and almost immediately, this one starts moving upwards with a lot of volume, as you can see. So then, as it came up and was breaking this downtrend, it dipped down in the next candle, and this is when I was really able to lock in and zone in on this one tiny little setup. And this is what I love. It's when you can base your trade on literally you can base your entry on one candle. Literally comes down to one candle. And that was this previous one that I was looking for it to be able to recover, because it opened, it dipped, and then it was able to recover that, came up with volume, and my entry was right here for the break of $4, right at the high of this candle, which was what is this? The high was $4 of this candle. I got in at $3.98 with 700 shares, and we immediately broke, and this thing moved so quickly right into this. And not that I don't like it when stocks move quick. It becomes a lot more likely that there's going to be like it's a liquidation candle, sort of like for shorts, and then they quickly drop back down. So it came up so quickly into this resistance right here, and as soon as I saw it was kind of wavering, I took my profit like immediately. So it came right up here almost perfectly with this. This did come in use right here. It's just why I think drawing these out can be very useful. If you were trading blindly without any of that, you just see stocks moving up and down, and you're like, oh, well, it's coming higher. It broke this. Let me get in for a move up, and then you can get caught in something like this. So very quick scalp. This was literally 12 seconds. So in 12 seconds, we had this huge move, like nearly 80. I think that's like 80 cents a share right there. I was able to lock up a good 32 cents a share, which is a good chunk of that. So that's something to be that I am proud of, and it happened very, very quickly. So I was quick to take my profit. That being with these topping tails, I had confidence in this short term, but I didn't think it was going to be able to. It would need to prove itself to me that I could hold up here for these levels to be able to continue higher, and maybe I would have re-entered. But that wasn't the case here. I took my profit as we came into resistance. I waited to see what it was gonna do, and we came up to 934, and this thing just flushed. Like, I'm surprised it didn't halt. It was a this is a huge flush. This move happened in one candle, and it gave it all back in one candle. And three candles, and it gave it back in one. So very big flush right there. I was like, okay, this thing's donezo. This thing's cooked for the day. So almost immediately, you can tell that other traders also just dropped it and gave up, and then so they went over to SAGT, and you can see literally right here that that's what happened, because SAGT here was selling off, and it was yeah, it dipped, and then at 934, as you can see right here, 934, once XDLB dropped, made that drop, we had volume pick up. It recovered right here, and this is one amongst my favorite setups right here, because as somebody who used to short stocks, this would make me terrified. Like, I would poop my pants seeing this. Like, this kind of recovery right here, because if you're a short and you got in here and you're seeing it sell off, that's great. But once you see a bottoming tail, a very large bottoming tail candle like this, that closes green on top of it with volume, you know you're about to get smoked, and you better start covering, buddy, because it's a long way up. So I've gotten smoked on these before as a short, and I suppose maybe that has helped me recognize this kind of setup. So it's a U-shape setup. I don't know what the exact, if there is a term for these, but it's just a U shape right here, and I love trading these. We see a sell off and then a higher volume recovery, closing green, large bottoming wick, and that is what I like to see. So, but I didn't get immediately here on this next candle. I wanted to see this thing kind of prove itself and break VWAP and show some strength. And I wanted it to break what was right here, right? This candle into the open. So I got in, once we came up to that point, I got in with 500 shares at $3.16, and we fired away, and this thing within like a split second came right up here, also right up towards resistance. Same thing. I was expecting for this to be a very quick scalp, because unless we were to break this, I just didn't think it had much integrity for a long-term run. So I was also very quick to lock up profit. It was very quick scalp. I think this was like, yeah, 6 seconds long, and 9 cents a share, which is not bad for a trade that short. We did make a really quick move. So yeah, I sold right into 325. I would have liked to get more. I wish I did, but that's what you get when you're using market orders. This right here happened in like an actual split second, so I wasn't able to get out in time to be able to lock up that profit. There was one point where I think where I was up like, I mean, in that split second, I was up over 300 on the day, which would have been great. But hey, you know what? We're happy still. It's a great green day. First trade with XTLB, we locked up a very solid gain. This, I think I was like 240, up 240 on the day with this trade, which was phenomenal. And then SAGT, just locking up a quick scalp, adding some more profit on the day, closing me out at $270.56, which is wonderful. We love seeing this. We are up over 500 on the week, picking up some speed here, and going into tomorrow. Looking forward to some momentum, especially that we had a move happen today, actually. a nearly 400% move. It's come back down, but later on in the day, let's see. Let me show you. So I was actually looking at this here. I just didn't take this trade just because this stock had no news. But after I was done trading, at 9:36, so literally a minute after I had finished, I used up all my buying power anyway, so I couldn't have taken this trade. But as you can see here, this stock, I don't know what this setup is. It's not one that I would take unless I'm feeling risky or confident. But yeah, the fact that perhaps if this had news, I may have had I had buying power, I may have punched it for this one with some small size, and that would have been a huge win right there. As within 1 minute, we went from like 740 up to over $10 a share, and that's huge. Halted up several times here, going up and down, and it continued to climb higher. So that's awesome. We had to move all the way up from what was it was $4.80 yesterday, and today we peaked at $23.98, almost $24 a share. So huge move, and I'm really hoping that this is going to spark some momentum for tomorrow. So keep the fire going. Perhaps we'll see some bigger gains, some bigger, maybe perhaps not even gains on my end, because I'm still trying to be somewhat careful, but some bigger moves. And yeah, so hopefully something like this is good to see, even though it was on no news. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye out for tomorrow. It's going to be harder to see if we can find a stock similar to this with similar profile. But yeah, we're just going to be quick to jump on momentum when we see it, taking setups when we see them, and being quick to stop out when they don't work. And that's really what it boils down to with this kind of thing. So we're going to be quick. We're going to be smart. We're going to have our rules. We're going to follow them and try, our best to not get emotional. Even with being up this much on the week, emotions can definitely come in. In fact, sometimes the strongest emotions come from losing profit when you were in profit. So you didn't technically lose. Like I could, let's say tomorrow I take a trade and immediately I lose like $100. That can spark so much like anger and frustration, and that I was like, oh, I'm doing so well, I shouldn't have had a loss like this. And you can very quickly spiral, and what was a great $500 week can completely turn around. And we don't want to go there, but it can things can turn wrong real quick. I don't know what's wrong with my vocabulary right now, but things can turn around on you real quick with this stuff. So you got to be very careful. You got to be quick to stop out. It doesn't matter. Don't try to salvage the trade. Try to salvage tomorrow. I think that's what I've been trying to nail in my head is you're not trying to save this one trade that you're in. If you're at a loss in this trade, don't be thinking, oh, I want to save today. I want to save this trade. I want to be up today. No, try to set yourself up for tomorrow, because if I'm down $50 tomorrow and I'm trying to think about saving myself for Friday, it's going to be so much easier to recover from a $50 drawdown on Friday. I'll be in such a better mental state than even if I was able to recover that loss and going into Friday. It's being able to keep a loss tight is going to help you long term mentally a lot more than it is to lock up some small profit or just get back to break even when you were in loss. But it's much better to just lock up small profits when you have them and small losses when they are small. So yeah, we're looking good for tomorrow. We're gonna be up here at 9:30 tomorrow morning, and yeah, I'll be posting a recap hopefully tomorrow if I have time, and I'll update you guys on that. So Hope you guys all had a great day. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.